and we have ice training with our duty crew and off-duty members.
Go back to the shoreline.
Well, it's time for our Around the Town tour. Here at Around the Clock, we'd like to share with you events, things that are going on in Ashland. We have quite the tour and quite a few stops. We're going to start at the Ashland State Park off of Spring Street, where our fire department was doing their ice rescue training. And it just so happened that it fell on the same day that they had done an ice rescue back in 1989. We want to thank Dave Iarussi for taking us through and telling us what's going on the ice.
Welcome to the Ashland Fire Department ice training today at the reservoir. It's quite a cold day here in Ashland, Massachusetts, and we have ice training with our duty crew and off-duty members. We brought them all in today because it's a perfect day to train, and we're doing 3 stations today. The one behind me is the rope bag station, where we're throwing and pulling. As you can see, we have spray paint on the ice, so we know where to place the person in the rescue suit or the victim, and then we're having the guys throw the ropes. You'll see it simulated in a second here. So they'll throw a 50-foot rope, perfect shot. So as you see, that's a good one. You see one of the members in one of our rescue suits, so he can go out and make a rescue. And then what we'll do is walk over here to the next section. You can walk together. So we also have a Rescue Alive sled, which helps us out with buoyancy. So if we have to go far out on the ice and make a rescue, we can use ropes with members in our rescue suits. They'll go out with the sled, be able to pull a victim out or possibly an animal off the ice. So we're going to walk out to the spot where we made a hole in the ice. We have one of our members in a suit that's in the water. What we're going to simulate is a victim. As you can see, the sled's coming out now with one of our rescuers. There's a rope tied to the rescuer, there's a rope tied to the sled. We have manpower on the shoreline that will be able to pull them back when it's ready. So as you see, one of our members in the water is acting as a victim. We're going to approach the victim. We're going to pull the victim onto the sled. By the way, this sled is amazing because it really helps us in making the job a lot easier, because otherwise we would have to come out just with people and ropes. And, as you can see, they're putting a harness on them. We all have radio communication when this is going on, so that he can radio back to the shoreline. So he's going to strap him in. The instructor's telling them to get a purchase point so they can pull in. They said the ice today is around 7 inches thick, so it's safe for us to be out training. And if you see in the distance, you can see the manpower on the shoreline getting ready to pull the ropes. They're just waiting for him to hoist them up onto the rescue sled. See the straps that go up over the handles. And at this point, we would be instructing the victim to assist us in pulling and possibly kicking if they can, because the kicking helps the buoyancy to get up onto the sled. So the instructor's informing him is, had this been thin ice, the Rescue Alive sled could be breaking into the water, which would make the rescue more difficult, but it's still able to be buoyant in the water if we had to. So now he's signaling to the shoreline to get ready for the rope people to start pulling. So you're going to have one person taking the slack up for our rescuer with the red rope, and then you're going to have 3 people on the yellow rope, which is going to pull the sled and both the people back to shore. So we're getting ready for the signal. He's giving the signal, tapping his head, and now they're going to pull and get the victim to safety. There'll be an ambulance on scene ready to get into the ambulance and bring him to the hospital because of an exposure situation. And depending on how long we've been out in the water, the rescuer could also have an exposure problem. So it's a good system, good day to train. It's a safe day to train. It is a little cold out, but we got the sun. We got trucks that have heat in them, and it's a good training all around.
Thank you, Dave, for sharing that. Thank you, firefighters, for sharing your story, and thank you for being out there as our first responders and for doing what you need to do to keep us all safe. We're now going to head to a Eagles Court that happened a couple weeks ago. This was the Eagle Court for 2 more Eagle Scouts here in Ashland. It was Cameron Thibault and Joe Morrissey. If we tell you about more Eagle Scouts, we have so many Eagle Scouts here in Ashland. The troops are just amazing and so supportive of these young men as they go through these projects. So a big congratulations to Joe Morrissey and his family, and to Cameron Thibault and his family. We now go to our snowman hunt. This is not just one location in town, but over 20 businesses are participating in the snowman hunt. If you remember the scarecrow hunt that the Recreation Department did in the fall, it's very similar, but now you're looking for creative snowmen because there's not much snow on the ground. We would like to share with you our snowman from here in the WACA studios. There's also a few more around town. The goal is to find as many of these snowmen as you can, take a picture with them, and then send that to the Ashland Recreation Department. I believe there might even be some prizes involved. So go check out those businesses and support them, and also find their snowmen. We're now going to continue and head over to the community center, and I know there's a snowman there if you would like to check that one out. This is for an event that was sponsored by Ashland is United. It was called Breaking Bread Together. There was about 7 or 8 different kinds of bread that you could go and taste, and there was a forum at the beginning and a panel discussion about where these breads come from, what these people did to create it, and also the stories that were behind the bread. And as Joe Mignani, one of our selectmen, stated when he was there, is that as he heard, all of it was about family and community and bringing people together over good food.
I'm starving to death. I'm sitting here listening to all the stories and all the memories, and it's one thing that it's common with everything that everyone has said, and it's family. It's around the family, and you can be as diverse as you want, but when it comes to family and gatherings, we're all the same. We're all the same, and that's the way my family brought us up. We never saw anybody by color. We saw everybody by how they treated you, and that's the way we were raised. Didn't matter what you were, what religion you were, how they treated you as an individual was the way you respected that person.
If you didn't have the opportunity to go and taste the bread, there will also be a workshop in March on how to bake some of the bread. So make sure you check out Ashland is United on Facebook and follow their emails to get more information. And thank you to everyone in the Ashland is United committee to bring this to town. From the community center, we're not going to go too far down the road. We're going to head to the Ashland Middle School. Ashland Farmers Market groupies, if you were missing your Ashland Farmers Market, hopefully you made it out this Saturday for the winter market. They try to tie it into Valentine's Day, so there's all kinds of chocolate and good food. Of course, their usual food vendors are there with wonderful breads and fruits and vegetables and many artisans so that you can share and find items for your Valentine.
We have French toast, honey green, another everything, plain whole wheat everything.
Well, that wraps up this Around the Town tour. Hopefully we got to see you at some of them. If you ever have an event that you'd like us to share, please make sure you reach out to us and we will share it here on Around the Town on Around the Clock.